Noctor till 6 on WLRFM.
How you doing? How's the Tuesday going so far for you? We've got loads now for you on the programme today. I think the first real test of the people of Waterford's opinion of the household charge will be tonight when there's a public meeting in the Tower Hotel from 8 to 11 p.m. and a lot of independent TDs, both local and national, coming down for that. So if you feel strongly about that, that is the place to be. We'll be talking in a few moments' time to John Halligan about it. Do you fancy yourself as a bodyguard? Remember that movie years ago, talking into your sleeve and all that type of crack? Well, Jeff Allen, who's ex-Irish Army, living in Dungarvan, has one place left on a bodyguarding course that he's running. This guy knows his stuff now, so he'll be in with us a little bit later on to talk about it as well. We'll also be talking about allotment places going for grabs in Tremor, the local papers, Coder Dojo, and John Milan's break from inter-county hurling. How long is that going to last? Not very long, I hope. What's behind it all? Well, we'll be getting a Dermot Key's opinion from the Munster Express on that just after 5 o'clock as well, so do stay tuned for that. Getting the programme underway this Tuesday afternoon. Tonight in the Tower Hotel in Waterford will, I suppose, really gauge exactly the true extent of our feelings towards the household charge. We have until the end of March to register for this household charge and pay it, or else apparently the powers that be, the government, are coming after us and going to penalise us in all sorts of ways and add interest and all sorts of other things to the €100 household charge. So, what's happening tonight? Well, a group of like-minded independent TDs are gathering at the Tower Hotel in Waterford and really want, as big as possible, a gathering there so that they can, I suppose, gauge the extent of the feeling. There's going to be a protest in Dungarvan this Thursday night coming as well. So we're starting to see the number of these protests really begin to scale up. Joining us now on the line is the independent TD for Waterford, John Halligan. John, welcome back to the programme.
Thanks, Ian.
So, John, it really is the acid test tonight, I guess.
Well, it's a test tonight. It's up to people to decide. Do they want to stand against this unjust tax? Here's an opportunity for people to say no, enough is enough. I own my home. I've paid for my home. I've paid my stamp duty on my home. I've paid everything associated with my home, including my sewerage and so on. And if you're a private homeowner, in essence, what they want to do is take a rent off you every year for owning your own home. An outrage. An outrage. If we don't fight this, let me tell you what's coming down the line. We're going to be in serious trouble. I just want to say this. On the 16th of December, Environment Minister Phil Hogan said he admitted that the charges could hit as high as €600 a year. That's what we're facing if we don't fight now.
John, I suppose one of the things about this as well is the middle class would feel like they're being very squeezed, or anybody basically who owns their own home, working middle or upper class, and that other people are getting away with it. How would you respond to that?
Well, it's very interesting, Ian, that there were statistics released over the last couple of months about wealth in Ireland, and Ireland is still the seventh wealthiest country out of 27 in EU countries.
Yeah.
And the 300 richest people in Ireland last year, their worth rose. They now are close to about 50 billion in assets and money. So there are elements in Irish society who are doing very well out of the downturn in this economy. The problem with this at present is, in order to pay the bondholders that we shouldn't pay, in order to bail out the banks that we shouldn't have bailed out, it's the middle income groups are being asked to make the biggest sacrifices. And the problem is that they just don't have the money anymore.
Tonight, it's not just yourself, John, that's going to be on the platform. There's, as I said in the intro, a group of like-minded independent TDs. Who's coming down?
Well, it's the campaign against household and water taxes, organised by a variety of groups, some political, some not political. It involves many groups, like the Socialist Party, the ULA, that's the United Left Alliance, the Workers' Party are opposed to it. Independent, I think 11 independent TDs signed up to say that they're not going to pay it. and other non-political groups who just feel this is an unjust tax. Who's speaking tonight will be Joe Higgins. We're unsure about Claire Daly. We're not too sure. She's not 100%. She's not terribly well. But if not, Joe Higgins will be speaking in place of her. Richard Boyd Barrett and myself will be speaking on behalf of the independent bloc in the Dáil.
In terms of, I suppose, sending a message back to Leinster House, back to Dáil Éireann, the number of people who turn out in Waterford City tonight, it could send a very strong message. So, I mean, is it really dependent on who turns up, the strength of the message that goes back?
Well, I think it does to a degree, but I would also make this point that the latest statistics, and these are government statistics, say that only 3.5% of people have registered.
Yeah.
Sorry, 3.5% of people have paid and only 5% of people have registered. Now, that's an incredible statistic. In other words, that the very vast majority of people in Ireland are saying we're not going to pay this. I would say to people, there's a battle you're fighting here now, that if you don't stand your ground on this, you will be crucified over the next 2 years. You have water rates coming in. We don't know what else will come down the line. You see what they've already done in the budget. You see what they've done with the universal charge. You see what they've done to middle income groups. The time has come for people to stand their ground and say, we're not paying back what greedy developers, greedy investors, greedy speculators done to this country and ripped off this country. Let them pay. They're still getting rich in this country. The bankers have got away with murder here in this country. Why should it come down to middle-income groups to pay the piper when it's not their fault?
Are you surprised at the level of apathy that the Irish people have shown between the time of the collapse of the banks and now? There was one significant march, I suppose, in Dublin a number of years ago. But apart from that, we seem to be kind of just rolling over and allowing them tickle their tummies.
Well, we've been let down badly by groups. We've been like you have to think about this very carefully. All people need to be organised. I need to be organised myself in my own life. Everybody needs to be organised. We have groups like the trade union movement who have practically abandoned, I believe, the workers. And I'm a trade unionist myself, but have abandoned the working class and abandoned the PAY workers here in Ireland. I mean, they've allowed legislation go through to force you to work up to 70 years of age or 75, slave labour, without a whimper from the trade union movement. We also have political parties who promise solemnly on oath, if you like, that when they would come into government, when they did replace Fianna Fáil and did replace the Green Party, that there would be no austerity measures. They would not pay back the banks, they wouldn't pay the bondholders, that the less well-off in society had nothing to fear, that those who were paying the piper, as I said earlier on, like the middle-income groups, would not have to pay for the greed and avarice of others. And they just broke all their promises and let them down. There's no discernible difference, and I'm in the Dáil, and you ask anybody in the Dáil, and if you read and see what's going on, there is absolutely no discernible difference now between Fine Gael Labour and Fianna Fáil when they're in power. And I think just people are so disillusioned with this. Their revolution was the last election. Rather than go on the streets, they put out Fianna Fáil on the basis of promises that were made by Fine Gael and particularly Labour, and they just abandoned people.
Okay. John, many texts coming in here, but one in particular, and we touched on this the last time we discussed the household charge. I think John should bow his head in shame for asking the people of Waterford to break the law. I will never vote for him again. Is that what you're asking for?
Well, if he doesn't want to vote for him, then good. That's fine. I'm delighted with that. If he feels that way about it, I'm not paying it. I'm making the point to people. Where do you stop? What do you say? What about these people that broke the law, the people that siphoned off 2.5 billion into the Cayman Islands Bank? Not one of these were taken to court. We take people to court for not paying their television licence. We take people to court for defaulting on their mortgage. But these people that break the law and are ultimately responsible for destroying the Irish economy, we don't take these to court. Yes, I think we should break the law on this and not pay it. I'm not paying it.
John, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us again today. There's 8 o'clock in the Tower Hotel tonight. The campaign against the household charge underway. John Halligan, Richard Boyd Barrett and other TDs taking part in that as well. John, talk to you again soon.
Thanks for that.
Cheers again. Bye-bye now.
Noctor till 6 on WLRFM.
Now, some of your texts and comments regarding our conversation with John Halligan and that anti-household charge meeting taking place in the Tower Hotel this evening. Ian, that meeting tonight's from 8 to 10 p.m, that's right. I think John should bow his head in shame for asking the people of Waterford to break the law. I'll never vote for him again. Yeah, we read that one. Why would you bother fighting it? The government are obviously not going to back down from it, says Jay in the city. Well, why would you bother fighting anything if you thought the people who impose it are not going to back down from it, Jay? I would rather see John do something more positive for Waterford, i.e. jobs, rather than objecting to everything. The people that voted for John are not interested in this nonsense, says Peter in Portlaw. Can you tell me, Ian, is there a waiver for the unemployed? Well, if you live in a house that you rent, either from the council or from a private landlord, well, then you don't have to pay this charge. If you're unemployed and live in your own house and have a mortgage, I think you do. But again, check with Citizens Information about that. Anybody who pays the household charge is a traitor to the Irish people. This will be beaten. Up John Halligan. I will never pay this unjust tax, says Mike. The trade union movement has been spineless and leaderless for the last 3 years. John Halligan is right. Well said, John, says another one. I hope John, DC Pony Coffee and Ciara Conway enjoy the next few years. They won't be voted in again. And the last one for now. Ian, John is wrong about the trade union letting people down. He needs to qualify that the ICTU and bureaucrats have let people down, as well as Labour. And that's signed John. So your thoughts on that, please. 083 333 975. Do you fancy being